Hello everyone, welcome to our anime. Before we dive in, let me set the stage. Luo Feng has just completed the life or death inheritance and become the master of Sword Tower, one of the most powerful treasures in the entire universe. He's still at World Master level, but his lore comprehension and combat power already rival Immortal Kings. He already has Heavy Arrow, a Limit King, as his first soul slave. And now he's about to exploit his Star Tower master privileges in the smartest way possible. Remember, this is based on the novel, so some details might differ from the Donghua version. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Alright, let's dive into the story and see how Long built his Immortal King army. Okay, so here's where things get interesting. Being the master of Star Tower isn't just about owning a powerful treasure. It gives Luo Feng abilities that are honestly broken when you think about them strategically. First, he can track every single warrior inside the tower. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of immortals from 3 different camps. The Automaton Camp, Demon Camp, and Bug Camp. The Star Tower essentially gives him a complete map showing exactly where everyone is and what they are doing at any given moment. That's insane when you think about the tactical advantage. Second, and this is crucial, he can choose any battle to join. See an interesting fight happening 3 forbidden spaces away? No problem. He can open a pathway directly there. Found a perfect target that's isolated. He can appear right in front of them without warning. He can prevent exits from appearing. Normally in Star Tower's forbidden spaces, exits randomly appear to let warriors escape dangerous situations. But when Luo Feng doesn't want someone to leave, those exits just don't show up. The enemy is trapped until he decides to let them go or until they are dead. This complete control over the battlefield is what makes his hunting strategy possible. He's not just fighting stronger, he's fighting smarter by controlling every variable. The Star Tower becomes his personal arena where he sets all the rules. Before we get into the hunting itself, we need to understand why soul slaves are such a big deal in Swallowed Star. In the universe, getting powerful allies is incredibly difficult. Sure, you can hire warriors or form alliances, but they have their own agendas. They can betray you. They can die and stay dead, and they definitely won't give you all their treasures. Soul slaves, they are completely different. A soul slave is absolutely loyal. Not just outwardly obedient, but loyal from the very core of their soul. They'll die for you without hesitation. They'll give you all their wealth and treasures. They'll follow your orders even if those orders seem to go against their own interests. It's the ultimate form of alliance because there's zero chance of betrayal. But here's the problem. Getting soul slaves is incredibly hard. There are really only 2 groups who can reliably capture them. Soul masters who specialize in soul techniques, and that's a tiny percentage of all cultivators. The other method, force an enemy into a coma, and then soul control them while they are unconscious. But that method has massive problems. If you hit them too hard trying to knock them out, you kill them instead. If you don't hit them hard enough, they stay conscious and can self-destruct. Even if you succeed, recovering a Komio-Mao's immortal costs hundreds of billions of mixed elements and treasures. And the whole time you're trying to knock them out without killing them, they are fighting back with everything they have. That's why most immortals, even powerful ones, only have 1 or 2 soul slaves, if they have any at all. Getting 8 new soul slaves in 1 month. That's not just impressive, it's revolutionary. So, how does Luo Feng actually capture these soul slaves? He's developed a complete system with multiple layers and each piece is essential. First, target selection. He's not going after random immortals. He's specifically hunting Pinnacle King Soul Masters. Why Soul Masters specifically? Because they have a special ability that makes them incredibly valuable to Luo Feng's plans. Pinnacle King Soul Masters can burn their own divine body to massively amplify their soul control techniques. That means once Luo Feng captures 1 Soul Master, that slave can help him capture the next target by boosting Luo Feng's soul control power. It's a snowball effect. Each successful capture makes the next capture more likely to succeed. Second, the weakening strategy. This is where the FMO poison comes in. Long has sealed stars. These aren't normal stars. They are special compressed stars from Star Tower that are incredibly heavy and destructive. He coats them in poison, which is one of the most lethal toxins in the universe. When a FO poison-coated sealed star hits an immortal, it doesn't just damage them, it destroys a huge percentage of their divine body in one strike. We're talking 30 to 80% of their total strength gone instantly. And that's the key, because soul control only works when there's a massive power gap. If the enemy is at full strength, their soul can resist but reduce them to below 10% of their power. Suddenly, soul control becomes possible. Third, the soul control technique itself. Long uses something called 10,000 soul control, and he's enhanced it in multiple ways. His willpower is incredibly strong from all his training in battles. He has the general soul armor which amplifies soul attacks, and his consciousness takes the form of a beast god which has its own soul technique called Beast God Howl. When all of these factors combine, strong willpower, general soul amplification, beast god form, and the enemy weakened to below 10% strength, that's when soul control becomes possible. Not guaranteed but possible. Fourth, and this is critical, the timing has to be perfect. Hit them with the FO poison. Immediately follow up with soul control before they can recover or self-destruct. If they manage to burn their divine body, even while weakened, the soul control might fail. If they self-destruct, you get nothing. It's a narrow window, and Luo Feng has to hit it perfectly. The first 4 days of hunting are honestly brutal. Not because the fights are hard. Luo's star map and sealed stars make the actual combat pretty one-sided. No, the brutal part is the soul control failure rate. Day 1, he fights 3 times. 3 Pinnacle King Soul Masters. He weakens all of them with for poison. Attempt soul control on all 3. Result, 0 successes. All 3 self-destruct rather than be enslaved. Day 2, 3 more battles. Same story. Weaken them, attempt control, fail. Some manage to break free from his soul control through sheer willpower. Others self-destruct the moment they feel his technique invading their consciousness. 0 successes again. Day 3, another 3 battles. By now, Long is refining his technique between each fight. The 10,000 soul control has room for improvement. And he's spending every moment between battles analyzing what went wrong, adjusting the law integration, making it more powerful and efficient. Still stood in 0 successes. Day 4, 3 more battles. 12 total battles across 4 days. 12 Pinnacle King Soul Masters, all falling to his attacks, and 0 soul slaves to show for it. But here's what's important. Luo Feng isn't getting discouraged. Each failure teaches him something. He learns the exact moment to strike with soul control. He refines the technique to be more penetrating, more difficult to resist. He experiments with different approaches, attacking the consciousness directly, invading through their divine body, using multiple waves of soul attacks. And critically, he's accumulating massive wealth. Every immortal king he kills has treasures worth billions or tens of billions of mixed elements. Over these 4 days, his collected treasures worth hundreds of billions. That wealth isn't just nice to have. It's going to fund his slave army's equipment and recovery later. What these 4 days really show is Luo's determination and strategic mindset. He knows soul control is incredibly difficult, but he also knows it's worth the effort. So he keeps grinding, keeps refining, keeps learning from each failure. Long has refined his 10,000 soul control technique about as much as he can without actual successful practice. His understanding of the timing, the penetration depth, the way to invade a consciousness. It's all been optimized based on 12 failures. His target is a diamond-like warrior called King Honeheart from the Pa Lua race. Like the others, Honeheart is a Pinnacle King Soul Master. The fight goes according to plan. Star Map sealed stars strike with overwhelming force. Theo Poison destroys 64% of his divine body, reducing him to just 36% of his full power. Then comes the soul control attempt. Long presses his refined technique against Honeheart's consciousness. The enemy resists his soul, struggling against the invasion. But this time, Long's technique is just a bit more refined, his approach just a bit more efficient. The soul threads sink deeper. Honed Heart's resistance grows desperate, but he's too weakened to break free. And finally, after 12 failures, success. Honed Heart's consciousness is imprinted with absolute loyalty to Long. The Diamond Warrior stands up and the first words out of his mouth are "Master." This is the turning point with Honed Heart. Long's capture rate is about to skyrocket. Way I am because Honed Heart can burn his divine body to amplify Luo Feng's soul control. What was a 20% success rate working alone becomes a 33% success rate with Honed Heart's help. That might not sound like a huge jump, but in practice, it's the difference between capturing one slave in 12 attempts versus one slave in 3 attempts. That's massive. After capturing Honed Heart, Long's entire approach evolves. He's no longer brute-forcing his way through trial and error. He's created a systematic, repeatable process. Step 1. Star Tower identifies targets. Using at his master privileges, Long scans through the forbidden spaces looking for either Pinnacle King Soul Masters or Limit Kings. These are the only targets worth the effort and risk. Step 2. Long opens a pathway and either joins the battle himself or sends his slaves. During the first 6 days of the entire month, he participates directly in most battles. But as his slave count grows, he transitions to staying hidden and letting his slaves do the hunting. Step 3. The slaves attack with far more poison-coated sealed stars and other weapons. Heavy Arrow already has the ancient clock true treasure. Once captured, other slaves get equipped with the treasures Luo Feng has looted from all his kills. The goal is always the same. Reduce the enemy to below 10% strength as quickly as possible. Step 4. Soul Control Attempt. If it's a Soul Master, Honed Heart burns his divine body to amplify the technique. If it's a Limit King, the approach might be slightly different, but the principle is the same. Exploit the moment of weakness to imprint absolute loyalty. Step 5. Recovery or next target. If the capture succeeds, the new slave is given recovery treasures to restore their strength. These are relatively cheap compared to the wealth gained from all the killing. If the capture fails, move on to the next target immediately. This systematic approach is what allows Luo Feng to capture 7 more soul slaves over the remaining 34 battles in the month. It's no longer about luck. It's about having a proven system and executing it repeatedly. The other critical evolution is secrecy. Some of Long's captured slaves don't reveal their enslavement. He arranges them in small teams to hunt separately. 1 battle per day. No sign of Luo Feng or his identity as Blade River anywhere nearby. To outside observers, it just looks like normal warfare between immortal kings. Nobody suspects that the hunter organizing all of this is actually a world master controlling everything from the shadows. After 1 month and 46 total battles, Long's soul slave army is complete. Let's break down who he captured and why each one matters. Heavy Arrow. He already had him before the hunt began, but Heavy Arrow is a Limit King with incredible combat power. He's the foundation of the team and one of the 4 slaves Luo Feng controls directly. King Honed Heart, the first successful capture, the Pinnacle King Soulmaster from the Pa Luo race. His ability to burn divine body and amplify soul control makes him essential to the entire operation. Without him, none of the other captures happen. He's also directly controlled by Long. King Jianzhong, a Limit King with powerful offensive capabilities. Having multiple Limit Kings means overwhelming force in any battle. King Metal Flag, another Limit, adding even more firepower to the team. King Sorrow Demon, a Pinnacle King, Soul Master. Now, Long has 2 Soul Masters who can amplify his technique, making future captures even more likely. King Cain, a 3rd Pinnacle King Soul Master. At this point, when all 3 Soul Masters burn their divine bodies simultaneously to amplify Luo Feng's 10,000 soul control, even Limit Kings have trouble resisting. King Jihong Hong, a Limit King who Long specifically chose because he's suitable for wielding the ancient clock true treasure. That's strategic thinking, matching the warrior to the weapon for maximum effectiveness. Ji Hong is one of the 4 directly controlled by Luo Feng. King Mountain Howl, another Limit King, rounding out the offensive power of the team. King Fuxia, a Limit King who gets equipped with the Ice Net True Treasure that Luo Feng looted from a High King he killed during the hunts. Again, matching warriors to weapons strategically. Fuxia is the fourth slave directly controlled by Luo Feng. Here's what makes this army so terrifying. 4 of them are controlled directly by Long, Heavy Arrow, Hone Heart, Jihone, and Fu. The other 5 are controlled through his directly controlled slaves. This creates a command structure that's incredibly efficient in battle. And because they are sole slaves, they give Long all their wealth and treasures. We're talking about billions upon billions of mixed elements worth of equipment and resources that he can redistribute to make his army even stronger. Let's take a moment to appreciate just how smart this entire operation is. Because there are layers of strategic thinking here that go way beyond just fight and win. First, the choice to target Soul Masters specifically in the early hunts. Most people would go after the strongest warriors available, the Limit Kings. But Long recognized that Soul Masters, while perhaps not quite as strong in direct combat, are force multipliers for his entire operation. Get one Soul Master in, capturing the next target becomes easier. That's exponential growth in capability. Second, the use of Star Tower's sealed stars. These are priceless treasures that could immediately reveal his identity as Star Tower's master if anyone recognizes them. So, Long never ever uses their sealing abilities in battle. He only uses them as heavy projectile weapons. They are still devastating because they are compressed stars with incredible mass, but nobody can identify them as sealed stars just from seeing them used as projectiles. This protects his biggest secret while still letting him use their power. Third, the transition from personal hunting to proxy hunting. After the first 6 days, Long mostly stays hidden and lets his slaves do the fighting. This serves multiple purposes. It keeps his profile lower, making it harder for enemies to track him. It prevents him from being blamed for too many deaths, which could cause political problems even with his backing. And it makes his slave army more independent and capable. Fourth, the systematic approach to capture versus kill. Long knows exactly when to attempt a soul control and when to just kill the enemy. If the enemy burns their divine body while at low health, soul control becomes nearly impossible. So, he switches to killing them for their treasures instead. He's not stubborn about every capture needing to succeed. He adapts based on battlefield conditions. Fifth, the wealth management. Every killed Immortal King represents tens of billions in treasures. Every successful capture represents a permanent addition to his forces. Long takes all of this and redistributes it strategically, giving true treasures to the slaves who can use them best, stockpiling recovery items for future operations. Investing in equipment that will make the next hunt even more efficient. This isn't just hunting. It's building a sustainable military operation with proper logistics, command structure, and long-term planning. By the end of this month-long hunting spree, Luo Feng's reputation in Star Tower has exploded. Multiple Pinnacle King Soul Masters and Limit Kings fell to someone identified as Blade River. The name spreads across all 3 camps, automaton, demon, and bug alike. But here's what makes it even more terrifying to outside observers. Blade River killed Soul Masters. Material defense can be overcome with enough firepower, but soul defense that requires either incredibly strong willpower, soul-specific treasures, or counter-soul techniques. The fact that Blade River can kill Pinnacle King Soul Masters means he's not just physically strong, he's got no weaknesses. Material attacks, soul attacks, he can withstand everything. This reputation actually serves Long's purpose. As Blade River becomes known as nearly invincible, other warriors start avoiding him. Some even leave Star Tower temporarily to wait for things to calm down. That makes future operations easier because there's less interference. The atmosphere in Star Tower goes absolutely crazy. Over 100 Immortals died in 46 battles. Some warriors see this as too dangerous and flee. Others see it as an opportunity. All those deaths mean all those treasures, and maybe they can scavenge some. Still, others see it as a rare chance to test themselves in real combat against powerful opponents. Meanwhile, Long is sitting on a fortune and looted treasures in commanding 9 Immortal-level warriors. His teacher, Truan, is worried about him attracting too much attention from powerhouses like Black Tomb and Dang. But Long just smiles and says he's had special encounters. That's an understatement if there ever was one. So that's the complete story of how Luo Feng built his 9 immortal army in just 1 month. From having only heavy arrow to capturing 8 new soul slaves, all while accumulating massive wealth and building a sustainable hunting system. What makes this so impressive isn't just the raw power. It's the strategic intelligence behind every decision. Target selection, wealth management, secrecy protocols, systematic approach to capture, matching warriors to weapons, building exponential growth through soul master captures, every piece serves a larger purpose. Now, here's something to think about. With this 9 immortal army in his command and complete control over Star Tower, what do you think Long's next move should be? Should he continue hunting, or does he have bigger prey in mind? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this breakdown helped you understand Luo Feng's genius hunting strategy and how he systematically built his immortal army, hit that like button and subscribe to Animeverse Hubs for more in-depth Swallowed Star analysis. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode breakdown. Also, let me know in the comments which aspect of his strategy impressed you most. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next. This video will end here.